My name is Charles Cutler. I'm a senior from Smithfield High School, and I plan to attend Virginia Commonwealth University in the fall. Today, I will be honoring Mr. Joel Joyner. The first time I met Mr. Joyner was 5 years ago, this month. I was a young eighth grader looking forward to playing with a band, and I remember that day well. It was spring band camp. He had a huge, welcoming smile on his face, and it was from that moment I knew him and I would become close. When I started classes freshman year, I was enrolled in Mr. Joyner's fourth block jazz band class. Every day was a great day, especially ending the day with Mr. Joyner. Him and I would laugh and joke around, whether it was because he played trumpet and I played saxophone, or because as a freshman I was shorter than he was, or because he had a bald head, which I thought was the funniest thing at the time. One thing that was immediately apparent was that I could come and talk to him about anything. If I was having a bad day, him and I would go into his office and he would talk me through and help me with whatever was going on. That same year, we took a trip down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. As the band traveled down to Louisiana, I fell severely ill. With my parents back home in Virginia, Mr. Joyner and his wife took me into their direct care. He acted without a second thought as if I was his own son. He took care of me, he looked after me, and made sure I got home safe to my family. The following year, him and I continued to grow close. As the jazz band went on more gigs, I had more chances to just sit and talk and fellowship with Mr. Joyner. Together, as the year went on, we shared in more memories. We would tackle logistics of events, talk football, talk about his children, or talk about my siblings, talk music, talk about his life, what it was like playing with Stevie Wonder, and all sorts of the amazing things that Mr. Joyner has done in his life. He always jokes he is old as Methuselah. Well, one thing is for sure, he has lived a life of adventure, and I was glad that he shared that with me, all the things he's done. I remember clearly another thing he did for me, stays fresh in my head. When sophomore year was coming to a close, I was accepted to the Governor's School for Science and Technology. This meant that I would not be at school during the fourth block when jazz band was. So he made sure to really push the issue and requested that his second block planning and jazz band fourth block were switched so that way I could stay enrolled in jazz band class. And I always remember that. He made it work out so that I could keep taking the jazz band class. When I left sophomore year, I was just barely below his height. But when I came back junior year, I had grown some. And he looked up at me, and looked down at him. I was like, "Hey there, Mr. Joyner." And that was another thing we laughed about. Finally, junior year, I had gotten taller than him. But as junior year went on, things in my life got a little rough. And Mr. Joyner was always there to help me through it, to help me deal with what I was going through. And I will always remember that. It has forever changed me, and I'm very grateful for him being there. All the advice he has given me, whether it be on life situations or on the principles of respect, I remember everything he shared with me. I remember every lesson. I care about him very much. I remember every detail he shared with me, and just as he remembers every memory he shared that I've shared with him. Without hesitation, there's nothing he wouldn't do for me, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. And that doesn't have to be said between us. We just know. We can feel it. Mr. Joyner took the time to invest in my well-being, and I did the same for him. When he wasn't feeling well, I would reach out. If he needed help, I was there, just as he would be for me. As senior year began, I realized that for almost 4 years of my life, I had started my day by saying good morning to the same smiling man, and that would be coming to an end in June. I never have been good at saying goodbye. I will truly miss him. And I think that is why it is best for me to say until next time. Thank you, sir, for changing my life. I will forever remember you.